Yep, we're ready to go.
Welcome to Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Lynchburg. We're glad you are here. Whoever you are, whatever your beliefs, whatever your age, whatever your gender identity, and whomever you love, you are welcome here. As we work together for justice, compassion, and peace, we acknowledge with humility that our buildings sit on traditional Monacan land. My name is Tina Barnes. I've been a member here 45-ish years, almost 45. Have done just about every committee that there could be. And it's been lovely. So if you are here for the first time on Zoom or in the sanctuary, we're glad that you chose to be here this morning to participate in the service for this congregation that we love. If you would like to receive our monthly newsletter and Friday email updates, please fill out the virtual visitor card found on our website at uulynchburg.org under Sunday services, or fill out the little yellow card in the back of the thing on the chair in front of you and place it in the offering basket during the offering. So now, I invite us to release our worries about the world and our own lives as we enter into the service by taking some slow, calming breaths. Now, if you will join me in lighting the chalice, Courtney's going to do this one. May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of life. Now, the greatest thing is greeting the Zoomies, where I feel so weird being on the other side. And Zoomies greet the Roomies. So now please join us in singing hymn number 347, Gather the Spirit.
All right, I'd like to invite all the young ones to join me down front for a story. Good morning, Emma. Thank you, Nora. Hi, Marielle. Good morning. All right, so I have such a good book today. This little friend is called Beagle. And his story is called The Adventures of Beagle, the Unimaginary Friend. He was born on an island far away where imaginary friends were created. Here they lived and played, each eagerly waiting to be imagined by a real child. Every night he stood under the stars, hoping for his turn to be picked by a child and given a special name. He waited for many nights, but his turn never came. His mind filled with thoughts of all the amazing things that were keeping his friend from imagining him. So rather than waiting, he did the unimaginable. He sailed through unknown waters and faced many scary things. But thinking about his friend gave him the courage to journey on. Until he reached the real world. The real world was a strange place. No kids were eating cake, no one stopped to hear the music, and everyone needed to take a nap. Then he finally saw something familiar. So he followed. I think he saw one of the other imaginary friends. Yeah. He had a good feeling about this place, but he looked everywhere and he could not find his friend. He climbed to the top of a tree and looked out, wishing and hoping his friend would come. But no one came. He thought about how far he'd come and how long he'd waited, and he felt very sad. Then he heard a noise below. Hello! Her face was friendly and familiar, and there was something about her that just felt right. At first, they weren't sure what to do. Neither of them had made a friend before. But after a little while, they realized they were perfect together. So they looked at each other, and finally she said, "I'm Alice." And she pointed to him and said, "You're Beagle." And he said, "I'm Beagle." "Hi, Beagle." Beagle and Alice had many new adventures. They shared their snacks. They told funny jokes. The world began to feel a little less strange. And together, they did the unimaginable. The end. So I like this book because last month we were learning all about possibilities. And this month we are going to start learning about creativity. And I think when you put possibilities and creativity together, all kinds of things can happen. And I like this book because it feels like Beagle kind of did the impossible and made it possible. And then together with his new friend, they were so creative together. So I'm excited to see what we can do together while we're learning about creativity. And for the grown-ups, during the service today, you will be talking about hopes, dreams, and wishes. And you have some index cards in your order of service. So if you write down any, this will be in Drysdale Hall during coffee hour. So please leave your hopes and dreams and wishes in here. And we are working on hopes, dreams, and wishes in RE too. All right, are we ready to head upstairs? Let's go.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So I am Joan Lewis-Yoder, and I am a member of your Ministerial Search Committee. I'm here with an update today. So we're talking about our hopes and wishes for the new ministry. And it might feel like we've been searching and preparing for so long. You might be saying, haven't we had this conversation before? Didn't we do this like a year and a half ago? And yes, we did. We've been at this for a year and a half now, but this time it's real. Transition is really happening, and we're about to go into some big changes. Last year, when we entered into search, we had a lot of energy and excitement. We found a candidate that we loved. We interviewed, we checked references, drew up a contract, but life doesn't go as planned. Because of factors that our candidate could not control and nothing to do with us, we are wonderful. It was nothing to do with us, and a really big disappointment for the candidate, but they couldn't come in the anticipated timeline. So after consulting with the board, we agreed that it was worth it to wait one more year in hopes that this would work out, and that if it didn't, we would be able to enter into search, no harm done. Terry graciously agreed to give us one more year, but told us this is it. Really. In the fall, though, the candidate let us know with a lot of regret that they would not be able to come. So back into search we went. About this search, many of you have participated in the search process for other congregations or even for this one. And you may have wondered why this year has been so different from what you've experienced in the past. The traditional route that you may have seen was getting an interim minister to serve for a couple years, intense work with committees, like a multi-year process to prepare for the search, hosting candidates, having people fly in and stay for a week at hotels and things like that. So why haven't we had an interim minister? Why didn't we talk about that? Why haven't you met anyone? Why haven't you had a guest minister here to deliver the sermon? So this goes back prior to COVID. The UUA was listening to some concerns of smaller congregations. You might be aware that smaller congregations tend to have somewhat limited resources. And so one of the things that happens is it's really difficult for a small congregation to support the financial commitment of searching for a new minister, and also the time and the energy that you need to sustain to go through that process. So in partnership with congregations, the UUA developed the contract ministry search. And so that is the process that we've been following this year. And it's actually, you might recall, okay, so this was spring of 2020. You may have had other things on your mind when we were in search for Terry, but Terry is a contract minister. And so we went through this process to get Terry, and I think that worked out really well. I'm glad you agree with me. So this year, along with 33 other small congregations in the UUA, we entered the contract ministry search. So armed with the results of our survey from back in fall of 2024, the feedback from the small group meetings that we held then, updates from the boards, from leadership meetings, from committees, we tweaked and then reposted our congregational profile, and we hoped for a match. Our choice picked us as her number one. Jim and the board negotiated a contract, and I think he's planning to tell us that she has accepted. Thumbs up. So we are really excited to tell you about her and what makes us confident that we will be a good fit for each other. But first, we're going to take an offering of our gifts. The ministries of our church and the ministers are supported by the love, talents, and efforts of our many volunteers and staff, as well as the monetary support of our members and friends. If you have found this church to be of value in your life, then I invite you to be generous, as our morning offering is freely given and gratefully received.
So before we get into the minister, we have other things to do. First of all, I want to say, member of the committee, Joan was the leader of that committee, and that wouldn't have happened without her drive. So thanks for being in charge. None of us wanted to do it. How's this? This says very natural. Leaning over into the mic like this.
Well, you could just move the mic over too.
Nobody likes a smart ass, you know.
I know.
Okay. So this morning's responsive reading is from the Reverend Dr. Gordon McKeeman, and it is in your order of service. So you all have a part to play in this. Ministry is a quality of relationship between and among human beings that beckons forth hidden possibilities.
Inviting people into deeper, more constant, more reverent relationships with the world and with one another.
Carrying forward a long heritage of hope and liberation that has dignified and informed the human venture over many centuries.
Being present with, to, and for others in their terrors and torments, in their grief, misery, and pain, knowing that those feelings are our feelings too.
Celebrating the triumphs of the human spirit, the miracles of birth and life, the wonders of devotion and sacrifice.
Listening to life enhancing values,
Speaking truth to power.
seeking for human dignity and equity, for compassion and aspiration,
Believing in life in the presence of death.
struggling for human responsibility against principalities and structures that more humaneness become institutions of death.
It is all of these and much, much more than all of them, present in the wordless, the unspoken, the ineffable.
It is speaking and living the highest we know, and living with knowledge that it is never as deep or as wide or as high as we wish.
Whenever there is a meeting that summons us to our better selves, wherever our lostness is found,
Our fragments are united,
our wounds begin healing,
our spines stiffen,
our muscles grow strong for the task.
there is ministry.
It is the practice of our community to share together Spirit of life and love, we hold up today the wonder and mystery of life. We gather each Sunday and share our joys and concerns that spread the whole gamut of human existence. We give thanks for this community that inspires us to work for justice and peace, that functions to build community across the Lynchburg area and throughout the world. And we also hold up the sorrows that we hold in our hearts, knowing that whatever sorrows are there, whatever joys are there, this community will help sustain us. We give thanks for the beauty of this part of the world of which we are a part. And what may we, this midpoint between winter and summer, may we enjoy the blessings of the natural world that we have received. We give thanks for friendship, for beauty, for community. This we ask in the name of all that is holy. Amen. And for our musical meditation, we're going to sing Spirit of Life together. We're going to remain seated in a meditative space, and let's sing it twice.
So, what did the congregation say we were looking for back when we first started this process? When we completed our congregational survey, I think we were really honest, both with and about ourselves, and that is one of the things I'm most proud of. We said that we want to be open to change, but that we know it's hard for us and we're not always as open as we wish to be. It's a challenge for us. We said we strongly value our community and our relationships with each other. We would like to be more engaged outside of our congregation with our wider community. And we want a minister who helps us continue to build connections between generations. We value services that push us to grow spiritually, ethically. We also like considering things in a new way. So someone who opens our minds a little bit. We want to be challenged and engaged. So what about this coming ministry and this coming minister feels right? We're really excited about the perspective that this new minister can bring. She served congregations in Minnesota, California, Michigan, Kentucky, North Carolina, and Florida, from large congregations to small, short terms, and settled ministries. Her references talked about what a great listener she is. She's really good at paying attention to congregational needs. She encourages and supports the growth of lay leadership so that changes come from within the church and are motivated by the congregation. Reflecting on her decision to recommend her candidacy, Barb LaFleur said this: "The committee agreed that if we didn't find a good match for a congregation, we shouldn't make an offer. That would have been a lot of Sunday services to fill and a lot of pastoral needs to take on, but we agreed that no one was better than the wrong one. Fortunately, we all thought we found a good fit." Barb said, "There is no substitution for ministerial experience. And I thought," and here's the name, Reverend Kathy. That's all you're getting right now. I don't want you guys Googling her right now. So I thought Reverend Kathy, Barb said, "I thought Reverend Kathy showed herself to be flexible and non-controlling in ways that made her the right choice for our congregation." I also verified one of her references, and they had nothing but good things to say about her. They give her a 10 out of 10 on her ministerial capabilities. And I'm pretty sure Barb also said, she didn't write that here, but I think she said they would have gone higher if they could have. Which makes me think Spinal Tap, but... Okay, so Barb says, "I know that we all feel that Terry is irreplaceable. But I think we are fortunate to be able to welcome Reverend Kathy as our new part-time minister." So Jim Billings, our president, is going to come up and tell you a little more.
Okay, well, thank you. I was thinking about reading from the ministerial record, but I didn't want to build her up so much that we would have unreasonable expectations. But I want to give you a few facts, and I'm going to read from some of how Reverend Kathy describes herself on her website. So her name is the Reverend Dr. Kathy Hurt, H-U-R-T. She lives in the Roanoke area. The ministerial contract has been approved by the board. It's the agreement's in principle. We have not fully executed it because she is actually away these past 2 weeks serving her current congregation. But as Joan said, she has served UU congregations as a settled, called consulting interim and contract minister in Michigan, Minnesota, California, Kentucky, North Carolina, and most recently Florida, where she is the minister for the UU Fellowship of the Emerald Coast. So Reverend Kathy holds degrees from Rice University, the University of Chicago, and the Meadville Lombard Theological School. In addition to serving congregations, she has worked in a residential school for abused children and in a school for juvenile delinquents. Now, in 2016, Reverend Kathy published a memoir account of her recovery from severe depression entitled "The Dark Has Its Own Light," which was written under the pen name of Sue Dowell. So from the website, I wanted to read how Reverend Kathy describes herself, or is described. So after publication of her memoir, "The Dark Has Its Own Light," under the pen name Sue Dowell, Kathy began developing written materials on the intersection of faith, spiritual growth, mental illness, and recovery for audiences both within and beyond traditional churches. Her perspective in writing reflects an openness of the wisdom of myriad spiritual paths and practices, in the belief that while the spiritual journey may draw all to the same end, the particular course of that journey will be varying and unique to each person. So on her website, she continues with this, quote, "I believe the spiritual journey is a journey toward wholeness, and that wholeness necessarily includes the work of finding a place in one's life for every experience, positive and negative, rewarding and disappointing, our successes and our failures. We might prefer to keep the good stuff and discard everything else, but such a process would not likely bring us to the place of wholeness we desire. All we are, our darkness and our light, and all we have known and done, no matter whether we judge it to have been worthwhile or not, all must ultimately be woven into the tapestry that is our life. God comes to us in each moment, inviting us to see the deeper meaning that is ever present, the potential for love that is ever being offered us. To that end, my writings include stories of my own times of despair and loss, especially the struggles I have known when I fell into periods of clinical depression. I write about these times to offer comfort to others." So again, her start date is August 1st, and her first day in the pulpit will be Sunday, August 16th. So we're not going to bother her for a little while because she's still on the books with her fellowship of the Emerald Coast. But we're hoping to get to know her a little bit better in the coming months. And again, we're going to see her in person the first week of August, potentially the second week of August for that August 16th date. So save the date, and thank you.
Here are some words and thoughts from Barb again. One thing I learned from Reverend Leela Sinha, who just came and did the workshops with us, is that the job of the search committee and of the congregation is not over because a minister was hired, but that we need to continue to keep communication going between our new minister and the congregation in order to help provide the congregation with a healthy ministerial transition. So if you have questions, and you're not Googling them right now, Zoomies, you can reach out to a member of the board or the search committee, and the search committee is me, Steph, Sarah Ball, Barb, Tina, Ash Kirkwood. And we'd also like you to take a moment, if you haven't already, to write down and share your wishes, hopes, and dreams as we welcome Reverend Kathy. So there are the note cards there that you can put in the wish box. And Courtney also provided a QR code right in your order of service that you can scan and fill it out electronically if you prefer that. And then if you're on Zoom and you haven't already done that, Makana said that she is willing to take down your response if you want to share it in the chat or during your Zoom talk after the service. So please rise and join us in singing hymn 134.
please join me as, nope, we're going to wave farewell first. Farewell to the Zoomies, to the Rudies. Now, join me in extinguishing that word, the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. No, I had it. I just had it from Jim. Thank you. The benediction by Reverend Michelle Collins. The flame is extinguished, but its work continues in our small acts, in our willingness to begin again, and in the way we love each other into courage. May we choose to take another step, even when we can't see the entire way.